right to it. Let's get right to it right away. A lot of some couple of games that were good. The Milwaukee Bucks and the Chicago Bulls for a second. A lot of blown leads, I will say, especially in this playoffs with the Nets of the Celtics. The Nets blew the lead in Game 1 for the buzzer beater, losing to the buzzer beater. Jalen, instant classic Game 1 against the Boston Celtics, blew in a 15-point lead in Game 1 against the Celtics. They do that again, and they blow a 17-point lead in Game 2 against the Boston Celtics, as well as the Nets lead the series by the score of two games to none. What the hell's going on with this microphone, man? What the hell's going on with this microphone, yo? Anybody can hear me? Hello. What the hell's going on here, man? Like, I don't like this at all, yo. Hello. Anyway, hello. Anybody can hear me? Everybody can hear me? All right, good. All right. Anywho, the Boston. So the Celtics lead the series two games to none, and they will play Game 3 on the weekend at the Barclays Center. The Barclays Center should be really packed right now, and really excited, really excited right now. But I would like to talk about if y'all don't mind, I would like to talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves last night. The theme that really jumps at me is the Minnesota Timberwolves in Game 3, as the Memphis Grizzlies came back to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves in Game number 3. Now, listen, the Minnesota Timberwolves, I like Patrick Beverly. I like the way he plays the game. I like his enthusiasm and his attitude and all that good stuff. I really love it. The type of player he is, I really love the type of player he is. He's a very talented player. I think he's very one of the best guys I would love to have on my team, to be honest. He is really a force to be reckoned with. He have done so. When he was with the Clippers, really that trade with the Clippers, as you can see, really came back to bite the Clippers right in the ass. As he told the Clippers to send their ass home after the Clippers blew the league in the play-in game. The Clippers blew a play-in game to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and that's why the Minnesota Timberwolves got to this point, facing the Memphis Grizzlies as the number 2 seeds. But you see, last night is a perfect example of the difference between. I want to say a difference of team with experience and team who basically for a Minnesota team. The Minnesota Timberwolves are a very talented team, very talented on the team, but there are a lot of things they got to do a lot better and be more aware, or they're gonna go home quickly. Like last night, when they were at, mind you, folks, they are at home. They had over a 20-point lead. In the first, they have 2 runs in the game. They had a 20. They was leading 51-29. About to go into halftime. 51-29. And Memphis cut the deficit short going into halftime. And for the coach, I don't know who the coach is for the Minnesota Timberwolves. When the game gets, if you're a team that's leading by that deficit, okay, 20, 30 point lead, 40 point lead, whatever the case may be, and you see the road team starting to make a comeback, you at that point as a coach, you have to figure out, you have to call a timeout. You cannot listen. If you have veterans players who been in that position before, and y'all a championship team, and y'all come from that adversity, then yeah, you will figure it out. But at some point, you got to call a timeout. You got to stop the bleeding. And the Minnesota Timberwolves did not do that, not once but twice. They did it not once but twice. They let the Memphis Grizzlies came back from 20-point down twice. All the years I have watched NBA playoffs for that long time, I never could recall in my lifetime see bad coaching and bad execution than what I saw last night. And I'm supposed to take Minnesota seriously. I'm supposed to take Minnesota seriously. And when and for Karl Anthony Towns to have an arrogant attitude, act like he won the chip. We're gonna drink some wine after this. What? You gonna drink some wine after blew a 20-point lead, not once but twice? Are you serious? Are you kidding me? You gonna drink and then when they ask you, your 8 points, next question. What? Dude, this is the second time you've been you in foul trouble in this game. At home. And you're the quote unquote franchise player. You gotta play better. 8 points is unacceptable for your caliber. Are you kidding me? This is the first time in your life that you've been in the playoffs. This is the first time the Minnesota Timberwolves have been in the playoffs for a long time, and this is and y'all acting like this. And this is you know. And when I saw that press conference on TNT after the game, I was so mad. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And if I was a coach of that team, I'll be outraged. But the coach should be mad at himself because the coach did a poor job too. What I just brought up just now. You gotta when a team goes on when another team goes on a 22 or 20-0 run, you gotta stop the bleeding at some point. You have to stop the bleeding. And give Memphis a lot of credit for not giving up, because they could have thrown away the game. They could have thrown away this game and say on to the next game. They didn't do that. They didn't give up. They came back and when they grabbed that lead, the Memphis Grizzlies, they never gave the game back to Minnesota. And from that, the Minnesota Timberwolves deserve to lose that game. And Chuck is right. And Charles is right. Say what you want about Charles Barkley for not having the rings, but he's right. But when it comes to basketball knowledge, Charles Barkley knows what he's talking about, and he's right about one thing. They made a lot of dumb decisions. No, another thing. This is the point. It is another thing I hate with the NBA right now with teams. They fell too in love with the 3 points. They fell in love too much with the 3-pointers. Okay? When you're down this big, you gotta when especially in the second half, when it gets middle to the third quarter or towards the end of the third quarter, heading to the fourth quarter, you gotta slow the game down. You gotta make shots. You can if the 3-point shot is there, then you take it, but you don't make it every single time. You see the Minnesota Timberwolves twice. Minnesota Timberwolves so many times they fell in love with the 3. They fell in love with the 3. And Memphis, just slowly but surely, they are coming back. Slowly but surely. You know. And anybody who for Kevin Durant and
and I'm gonna bring this up too. This is why in this situation last night with Memphis and Minnesota, this is why you need a head coach. Because if Minnesota had an old school coach, that would have never happened. If Pat Riley, imagine if Pat Riley was the head coach. Pat Riley at some point would have stopped the bleeding. If Phil Jackson was the head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves at that time, at some point they would have stopped the bleeding. Coaches in the playoffs sometimes matter. And for Minnesota to lose the game the way they did, and they're going to lose the series, and I would not be shocked if they lose the series that way. Okay? Sooner or later, you can't fall. You can't fall. You can't act like the Clippers. Y'all act like y'all won the chip and y'all graduate. Okay, y'all won the championship. Y'all won the champion. You haven't been to the playoffs in a long time. This is good for the city. I grant you that. But there comes a point. Are you happy to be there, or you going to be happy to be there, or you're just going to go out there and win it? And the more I watch the Minnesota Timberwolves, game after game, they look like they're happy to be there. You know, and that's why I don't think they're going to beat Memphis. I think Memphis will pull them out. I really do. You know. Now, as far as the Utah Jazz is concerned, it seems like every year, what if it's Stockton, Malone, Boozer, and D. Williams, and now Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell? It seems like the Jazz for 3 decades they have been to the playoffs. I know before Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, they didn't really go to the playoffs like that in a long time. But it seems like the Utah Jazz get into this motion every single year when you expect expectations from them, when you expect them to win a championship, and when they get there, they lay an egg. And this year, what else is new is no exception. They lose to the Mavericks in Game 3. Now, I'm not here to tell you that the Mavericks are a better team than the Jazz. I'm not saying that, but it's like every single year it's the same thing with the Utah Jazz. Every single year, and it gets tiring right now. And if I'm a Jazz fan, a long-time Jazz fan, I've been seeing this since 1988. It's the same thing. When we get to the playoffs, no matter if we get to the NBA Finals, the Western Conference Finals, the Western Conference semis, or even the first round, it seems like it never gets old with the Utah Jazz. And by God, and at some point, I'm getting sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired. As a Jazz fan, you must be sick right now. I'm not a Jazz fan, but I'm sick of watching this. How can I sit there as a fan be proud of what I saw on display? And Donovan Mitchell, which is a great player, but he at some point, enough is enough. Like, really. They are talented enough. At some point, they gotta. Can we see them go deeper in the playoffs for once? They have the talent to do it. The Utah Jazz have the talent to do it. They have the talent to win the championship. They gotta, at some point, something gotta give. Something gotta give. I know Luka Doncic is Luka Doncic, but come on, man. At some point, make the series competitive. I want to see the Utah Jazz at least win a championship for once. At least. They deserve that. Like, my God.